Hey man, welcome back to Man Time. Today's episode, I'm going to be trying to make a reliable vehicle out of my 2001 Honda CRV. And what that means today is fixing all of the stuff that's broken or worn out and, put that on film for you guys. Welcome to Man Time. So, if you're new to the channel, you saw there I'm building a barn dominium out in the woods, and the whole goal of this channel is to document all of the things to, buy property, homestead, farmstead, do the things you need to do so you can build on your property, and my goal is to be debt-free. So that means driving old, junky vehicles, and that is also going to mean weekends like this one are lost to vehicle maintenance, where I should be constructing, doing something to make a livable space. In my barn dominium, it means I'm doing suspension and oil leaks and stuff like that. So this is day 2 of working on this Honda CRV. I thought I was going to make it a lot further yesterday, but it didn't work out that way. This thing is being a 2001. So I got this vehicle because I was having too many problems with my Subarus. I've got 2 boxer engines that are down because of rod bearings. So at that point I was like, I need to do something different. Being able to rebuild a inline 4-cylinder is much easier to do stuff like that than on, a boxer engine. So I went and I got a 2001 Honda CRV. It's all-wheel drive, it's manual trans, very easy to work on, very reliable vehicle, right? But there's a lot of wear items that are now worn out, being that it's a 2001. So yesterday I changed out the oil pan gasket, basically having to cut a lot of the exhaust hardware off of there. Now I'm going to move into the suspension. I've got a full suspension package. One of the other reasons that drew me to this vehicle was the amount of spare parts availability and the price of spare parts. I got this entire suspension package from carparts.com for like under $300, right? It's full struts with springs assembled, upper and lower ball joints, sway bar links, and also steering links with ball joints on those. So full suspension kit, under $300. Man, what else can you ask for? But I've got the oil pan gasket done. That was a nightmare. I had to cut a lot of that hardware off of there, especially at the catalytic converter. It's got those spring bolts with the carbon cup deal. Had to be running back and forth to O'Reilly to get some hardware and Ace Hardware to get some hardware and stuff for that. But I think it was a good thing to wait overnight anyway on a lot of this hardware, because a lot of this hardware is rusted and seized together, and we'll take a look at that in a second. But I mean, it's nice to have the manual, of course, but there's a lot of things in the manual that isn't covered. When it says just remove the bolt, 2001 bolts aren't just remove the bolt. So we'll go through some of that. Let's take a look on the vehicle and see what I'm working with today. All right, so here is everything. After it's been all sprayed down with PB Blaster. You can see the strut behind there. You've got your upper A-arm, lower A-arm. This piece coming up the side here, but I mean, all of this hardware is just super rusted. We'll try to get a nice close-up shot for you here. Like these sway bar links, they're completely rusted. This bolt here, completely rusted. Like all the threads are rusted. Same thing happened on the suspension parts there. You can see that spring laying down there. That's where I had to cut the bolts off the catalytic converter to get that off. You've got to get this header pipe off from underneath the oil pan to get that oil pan out of there. So I was working on that and got that done yesterday. But let's take a look here. Yeah, you can see like this is an unmolested, like all stock, all original 4-cylinder. I think it's got a 2.2 in it. Maybe a 2.0. Not quite sure on that one. But yeah, I mean, doing little things like a fuel filter, even that was difficult. Had to take this bracket completely off of there to be able to get a wrench on there on a couple of the, it might have been the bottom bolt there, securing that. But yeah, very clean. But yeah, I've had the PV Blaster soaking on all of this stuff overnight. I did manage to get this bolt right here broke loose. Of course, the threads, coming from the backside here. But the next step is to try to get this fork off of there, and it's got hardware, down here and over here. And at that point, we should be able to drop the strut out of here. Now, the reason I'm doing this, it's got like a clunking sound going on as I'm driving down the road. And once I get this strut off of here and get tension off of the system, I can really pinpoint that. But if it is this lower ball joint, let's see if we can get in here. Yeah, if it is this lower ball joint here, the front axle shaft is going to have to come out of there, the CV axle. So that means this whole, front stuff has to come apart. But hopefully that's not the case. Yeah, right there you can see the new hardware on the... yeah, those bolts right there with the springs on the catalytic converter where that mounts up, those were all completely rusted together. The exhaust bolts that mount up to the header pipe, those were all rusted, and luckily enough I got those to come off of there. But yeah, let's just see how it goes here. Yeah, so the first thing we're working on is this fork right here, and I've got my sizes picked out here. These are 17s on either side. Now, it would be nice to be able to put the impact gun on there, but I don't think that's going to get it. I think I'm going to need to break it and then maybe put the impact gun on it. I've got a wrench on the other side of it here that should... Oh, okay. Well, I guess the PV Blaster soaking overnight did its job. Well, that is fantastic. My wrench came off. It's spinning it back this way. Get on there. Wow. Yeah, PV Blaster to the rescue on that one. I can't believe that came off of there as rusty and crusty as that bolt was. Okay. So good, the suspension all the way sagged down like that, made it to where I can get in there and get these struts off. Yeah, you can just make out the top of that strut right there, and it would be nice if I could get an impact on there. Sometimes there's a right combination you can get to make this stuff happen. And that is a 14. Let's see what we can do here with a swivel. I've got an impact swivel extension here. Oh yeah. Nice. So yeah, 14 with a impact swivel. Got that right off of there. That other one on the other side may not be quite that easy. You've got this big dumb box over it. Yeah, there's just no way, I don't think, to get in there and get on it. So, one of the first things I did when I got my forging set up, anvil, hammer, coal bed, blower, all that stuff. I built a wedge, and this is specifically for stuff like this, where basically this taper is designed to separate things. So I'm trying to get it right in between, you know, the strut body and this lower fork, and then just hammer it where it's gonna be, you know, wedging those two things apart. You can also do this with two of these, and there's also like a circular deal, but this is what I'm going to try using here. Alright, in the end, a combination of the wedge to get it started separating, and then a punch to get it the rest of the way. And now we've got our, well, I'll just leave that there, but it is separated. Yeah, completely rusted. Alright, now we can get those bolts off from the top. Those nuts holding the top of that strut in. Get the strut dropped out of there. See, and now you can get a feel of any play. Like in anything, like these ball joints, you could feel all that stuff without that tension on there. Alright, I went back up top, and I got these nuts off from the strut. And here it comes. Very nice. Okay. Now we can take this one and make sure the new one is gonna match up. This one I think is probably still in alright shape. The one on the other side is the side that was clunking. But there again, you know, 23 years old. You don't want to really rely on any of this stuff to be that great a shape. So, alright, I'm going to clean this up and yeah, clean this up. I'm probably going to have to cut these off for this sway bar links. Those are actually really rusty. Yeah, that's still good and tight down there. That's good and tight. Yeah, I don't really feel any movement that's out of place there. Yeah, let's get this cleaned up. Well, they showed in the manual having to use spring compressors to get these in there. I don't think that's going to be the case. As it just, you know, slid out with this fork loosened up off of there. But what I want to do is I want to check to make sure there isn't a left-right designation, and I don't know that there is or isn't, but we'll see on this one here. Yeah, it's got an L on it. You know, left is going to be your driver's side. So let's line all three of them up and see if we can't figure out why that is. So here, it's actually got a little notch in it, all of them do, where they line up. So let's see here. Yeah, I think this is going to be the left one due to the bolt pattern. See how the bolt pattern is offset this way on these two? I think these are going to match up. Yeah. So this is going to be the one that we're going to replace it with. It's nice to have this stuff. Yeah, that's caution. Do not remove that nut because the spring is under tension. Yeah, the spring is under tension between there and there. If you've ever replaced the springs on a strut, just the springs, I mean, you can take the nut off of there. You just gotta kind of stand back as it goes boom. Alright, so this is our replacement. Let's go get this installed. I did take and clean up my threads, all the mating surfaces, and just kind of give it a general, you know, once over that and the bolt. But now I know, and now you know, make sure to take this bolt completely out before you go and take your strut off of there. Because Yeah, it's got that little indent in there. I probably didn't have to beat it off of there. So, that would have been nice to know. Should have probably watched a YouTube video before I did this, huh? Well, one thing that's going to be extremely important is order of operations. Because right here, and before I took that all apart, I noticed that the only way to get these sway bar links off of there may be to cut them off. And let's see. Oh no, there is an Allen head. Okay. So there's an Allen head. It's nice to have new stuff to be able to look at it, right? So there's an Allen head in the end of this sway bar link. So in the end of either side of that, I should be able to get an Allen head in there to keep it from rotating. Because if you don't, this whole nut is just going to spin, right? There's a ball on the end and it just spins around. But let me see if I can find an Allen head that's going to fit inside of there. Alright, I was able to get an Allen head in there in the next size down. I think it's a 4.5 maybe. But, yeah, this nut is just going to be seized on there. Yeah, I mean the head is already like rounded over. Yeah. Yep. So, regardless of whether or not you get your Allen in there, there is just no way. Yeah, so one thing you do want to do before you start cutting, like on the one that's on the sway bar link, I don't think I'm going to be able to get back here to cut the nut. So I'm looking at it, and there's also a shoulder on the back side. So you've got to be able to cut it flush on either side regardless. And it looks like it's going to be easier from the shoulder on the back side. There's less material to cut, and then I should be able to come in there and get it flush. So I think that's going to be the plan. Probably need a new grinding disc. Well, in this instance, I think the most critical thing here is going to be work positioning. Being able to get in here and control the grinder so I'm not hitting things I don't want to be hitting, like this or the frame or whatever. Being able to see what I'm doing would be nice. So now, very important order of operations. I'm leaving these ball joints. I've got to drive this car tomorrow, so I'm going to have the ball joints as spares. I'm going to have the steering ball joints and links as spares. I wouldn't change those anyway, because then I'd have to, immediately have it aligned. So that's not going to happen. Not on a Sunday anyway. So here we go. This curved piece, that goes toward the front. And you want to get this set in here. The curved piece is like that for the axle. It curves around. The axle runs in front there. Oh, yeah, there's my new oil pan gasket. No leaks so far. That's good. Yeah, fresh oil, fresh filter, fresh hardware on the exhaust. All making this, a more reliable kind of vehicle. So let's see if I figured out the correct way here to make sure this is going to fit back in here. Being what this goes toward the back, and let's see if we can slide it up in here this way. There we go. There we go. And now, can I? Yes. Okay. Okay. and that, yeah, that went all the way on there, so I might as well put this bolt back in. One thing you want to have on you, with you, whatever, is a pipe brush, and I have one somewhere here. I might have went up top with it, but these all look like good threads. Basically just have something to be able to clean out your threads and have those all good. Okay. I'm going to grab that brush, actually. Oh, there it is. Yeah, when I put that bolt back through there, it drug through some rust and stuff with it, so there we go. Okay. That's too far to reach. All right, before we button it up here, you can see there's our sway bar link and our new strut and spring, and everything is buttoned up and ready to go. Those two are the two, major consumables. Of course, here's your upper ball joint here. It's not in great shape, but it's not damaged. So this is where I'm leaving it on this side. Again, I've got to drive this tomorrow. I've got a full-time job and a YouTube channel and running a farm and everything else. So I'm getting away with what is broken today. Well, like any good mechanic, I'm going to take, what I learned on that other side and apply it over here. So we'll just start off by completely removing this bolt here, so that doesn't get us confused. There we go. So when we go to, drop that strut out of there, see how caked up with rust and stuff that is? That's why you want to have your brush, and then you can clean it, immediately up. That way when you're ready to go back together with it, it's already cleaned up and ready to go. Okay, this is the tough one here. Let's see here. Yeah, we're ready to go. And out we go. Beautiful. I had a pan over here that I was keeping my nuts and bolts and stuff in. And if it comes to the point where I need to get this off to get that axle out and all that, I will revert back. But right now, yeah, see, that's okay. We learned, lesson learned. Take that bolt all the way out, and that just comes right out. And now we can take from the top, and we already know we've got the right socket on from the other side. We can just get up here. And just like that, we are out. Now it does come out a little bit easier on the other side. So we'll do that. And yeah, I like to keep stuff like this, right? Now one thing I did want to see here is the clunking. Man, I don't know that this was doing the clunking. That still seems pretty good. Well, now we can check our... Let's get this out of here so that's not confusing us with our clunking. And shoot, I thought I had gloves around here somewhere. It almost looks like that. Let's replace that out, and then I don't feel upper or lower ball joints on this side either. Let's replace that out. That might have been the clunking. Well, I'm just going to button this back up. You saw there, I didn't end up doing the upper or lower ball joints. Certainly not the steering tie rod ends there. Again, that would have required an alignment, and like I said, I've got to drive this tomorrow, and with, 8 jobs, my real job, running a farm, doing firewood, running a homestead and a farmstead, and being a vehicle mechanic, and apparently a YouTuber where I have to, videographer and video editor, all that good stuff. Doesn't leave me much personal time to relax. So it'd be nice to take, an hour a week where I can just sit and relax and not really have to do anything. So I think that's what I'm going to do today with the time I saved. Not having to change out the upper and lower ball joints on this one. Being able to keep, but this all looks new. It looks like somebody replaced this. Brake pads are, fully there. And I don't hear, any weird crinking or popping. So I think the strut was actually the issue. But if you enjoy these type of videos, make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. If not, do whatever you like to do there. But whatever you do, get out there and have you some man time too.